Hello and welcome again to my channel. This will be a follow-up video for the two previous plugins that we created. I will talk about the updates I made for the two plugins and how to effectively use them. First off, let's talk about persistent unique IDs. So I have here our previous project and I updated the unique ID node. Let me just click on that and let me go to the inspector and make that floating so that I can move it in the middle so that you can see better. Now, if you're familiar with the unique ID, you'll probably notice that there is already one option that is missing. It's called the free after use option. Now, I was thinking that this unique ID, the purpose of it is really to rename this parent ID, and that's it. So we actually don't need to have an option to free it up. So what I did was remove that and have this unique ID free itself up after we actually use them. Now this will make sure that your game, although in debug mode, will only use a minimum amount of memory. So less memory for you with freeing up this unique ID. Next, let's talk about the new option, which is the persistent ID option. Now, this option, when you enable it, it will save those unique ID into disk. So let me just show you how it looks under the hood. Let me go back and set that to default. And let's go inside the script. So as you can see here, there's the queue free that I mentioned. If it's not enabled, just free it up. And if you use it, you just, again, free it up. Now we have here a variable called persistent IDs, and it will actually get a persistent ID autoload script. And this autoload script will be in charge of loading your ID and adding IDs and removing those IDs if it's not used. So let's go to that persistent ID script. Cool. So here we go. This is the persistent ID autoload. Now, as you can see here, I have a couple of functions to load from file, add ID, remove ID, load ID, and save IDs to file. Now, the file is located at the users folder, and it's called persistent IDs. Let me show you where that file is located in my OS. Let me click here, and I'm using Windows, so it's under Windows, Users, My Username, App Data, Roaming, Godot, App User Data, and the project name, which is Unique ID. And under that folder, you can see persistent.ids. Now the file is still small, but it will grow if you add more persistent IDs. So let's go back. And next, I'll show you how this one works. First, let's try it without persistency. Let me just select the unique ID. Oops. And let me just make sure that the persistent ID is unticked. Cool. And let's play the game. Although it's not really a game. Let's go to remote. And as you can see, it created a name for the node with a unique ID AA89704E. Awesome. So mental memory, let me just save that in my brain. Let me close this one. And let's play it again. Let's see. Awesome. Let's go to remote. And yes, it's changed C209 F69339. Cool. Let's now select persistent ID and check if it's saving the unique ID. Let's go here and play it and go remote. Cool. Another mental game. BE285066. So save that in my brain. Okay, let's stop it. Now, let's play it again. Oops. Awesome. Remote BE285066. I think that's right. So I'll probably have a screenshot later on to see if that's correct, but I think it worked. So it should be working because I've already tested it before. Sweet. And that's it for the persistent unique ID. Here are my recommendations when using the persistent ID option. Number 1. Only use it on static nodes. This is because the instance ID of the node is being used to map the unique ID. It works great with static nodes since the node has a predefined instance ID. If you enable this on a dynamically created node, the instance ID will always change, and that means the unique ID also changes since the old instance ID does not exist anymore. Number 2. Don't overuse. Use it as little as possible. The primary purpose of the unique ID is really just tagging the node name with a unique suffix. So, persistent ID is just a nice option to have by saving those unique suffixes on disk. Overusing the option would slow down your project runtime from constantly loading and saving these IDs. And lastly, please disable persistent ID when you're exporting your game. The exported game doesn't need it. It's used for debugging. I just created it to practice saving to and loading from disk. And I had fun playing around, seeing persistency work. Next, let's move on to health bar updates. So here we have our old health node project, and I have here our player node with the health node. So let's go to the health node. Let's go to inspector tab. Let's go and make it floating. I'll drag it over here in the middle so that you can see properly. And here is the update in the interface. So if you've been using the health node, you'll probably notice that the texture progress was previously called health bar. So I just renamed it to texture progress. It's the same support for texture progress bar. It will be the same as what it is. I just renamed it. The new one will be this one, which is the progress. It's now supporting progress bar nodes. So I added the progress bar support so you have more node options for visualization, and progress bar works in 3D. So now you can use the health node in your 3D projects. Let me set the editor to default. And let me go to the example node, and I'll play this to show you that it's still working. Cool, it's doing the same thing. Decreasing health. Let's wait for a bit. Boom, it's dead. Let's revive it. Boom, dead again. I'll revive one more time. Awesome. Now let's go back to the player node, and let's go and add a progress bar to visualize our health. So let me go here, add a child node, and I already have a progress bar selected. Let me just remove the health bar, set it to visible false. Let me go and move this one here, and let's not show the percent. And let's do the same thing as the texture progress, bottom to top. Let me just go here and add a value so that I can visualize. How does it look? It's rounded. So it's fine. Me have this one open again, and from there I want to override some themes. Style, there you go. Fill, I want to make it a flat box, all right? And go this one. I want the same color as this one. Looks good. And the background, I want the flat style again. But I'll change the color to a more darker one. Let me just go here. And I'll set the alpha to opacity of around 100. There you go. It's looking good. And then I'll just resize it so that it will be the same height as our texture progress. That looks good. Awesome. Let's drag it and set it here. Okie dokie. Now let me set this one to invisible and assign it and remove the health bar so that it only processes the progress bar. Save it. And let's go to example player and let's play it. Sweet, it's working. Now let me try adding more health. Awesome. Cool, it's working, but now it's using the progress bar. Oops, let's revive it. Awesome. And that's it for this video. Hope the updates will be useful for you guys. Watch out for the next video. I'm gonna show you my next plugin called Hit Zone and Status Effects. Please subscribe and help me grow this channel. Hit that bell icon to get notified of new videos. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, have fun. See you all on the next vlog.